special presentation of HBO's Sports of the 20th Century.
And right now, Thomas Hearns is an open book for Ray Leonard. Backs up against the ropes.
This is one of the most unusual calls by a referee in the history of the sport. The first loss.
A tremendous victory. Leonard fighting off the ropes.
It happened. It happened. An uppercut by Douglas. Down goes Tyson.
Wilson, right hand shot.
Excellent. Knocks out Mike Tyson.
Slumps to the canvas.
The champion struggles to stay on his feet.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Hello, I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome to this look back at the stories behind Leonard Hearns, one of the most memorable fights in 30 years of boxing on HBO. We focus on a pivotal bout in boxing history. 10 years after an unbeaten Muhammad Ali faced off for the first time against unbeaten Joe Frazier, another classic boxer met another fearsome puncher in another summit meeting of rising stars. Like Ali and Frazier before them, welterweights Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hitman Hearns were the two biggest stars of the moment.
Welterweight championship of the world. It is probably the most talked about fight in history.
This was everything people in prior eras remembered about Dempsey, Tunney, Robinson, Basilio, or Louis Schmeling. This was that level of rivalry.
It was clear that they're the best of their era and had the potential to be among the greatest welterweights of all time.
There was a sense that something very big was at stake in terms of who would be the signal figure in boxing for years to come.
By one punch either way, it would have changed the course of history.
In the late 1970s, boxing stood on the brink of a new era as the ring's most charismatic figure began a slow fade into the twilight of his luminous career. And a young Ray Charles Leonard dreamed of following in the footsteps of his heavyweight idol.
I saw Muhammad Ali and I wanted to be so much like him. He was more than a boxer. He was considered an entertainer, an artist. He was transcending the sport of boxing.
We always said that one day, I'm gonna be that champ. I used to come from parties, come home like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Ray out there jogging around the track. I'm saying, what are you doing, man? He said, I'm training for the Olympics.
There is Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard from the United States, who's been such a popular favorite here so far. Young man from the Washington, D.C. area, Palmer Park, Maryland.
Early on, it was very clear that there was something special about Sugar Ray Leonard.
Some people have the knack of winning you over. It could be a smile, could be a wink, could be a wink and a smile. Ray Leonard had that knack.
What are you going to do to him with the right?
Well, I'm planning on moving on him, and I know I can catch him.
And you know, I was there in Montreal, and here was 20,000 people with 20,000 American flags clapping him home. And believe me, he had to do the Ali Shuffle. That was a must.
Sugar Ray hit him at least 10 times with rapid-fire punches. What a stylish fighter this Ray Leonard is.
He was explosive, exciting, and people loved to watch him fight.
The crowd goes wild. Ray Leonard of Palmer Park, Maryland. His dream is realized as he has won himself a gold medal.
But America's golden boy returned home from the Montreal Olympic Games, facing the financial burdens of his family and growing aspirations for his young son.
My family was really down and out, and I felt it was my obligation to really help him out. Little Ray, he's 3 years old. I'm gonna make sure that he has all the things that I didn't have when I was coming up. Who's your favorite boxer? There you go.
Making his professional debut here, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Leonard earned an unprecedented $40,000 in his professional debut, fast-tracking from a gold medal to a gold mine.
Ray and I both came from very low-income families. And after the Olympics, there was just rags to riches overnight.
Number 7. Number 7. Number 7, baby. Right,
with the help of Muhammad Ali's acclaimed trainer, Angelo Dundee, Leonard soared to a welterweight world championship in only 3 years, confirming his arrival as boxing's face of the future.
When Ali left, we never thought there would be another major attraction. Sugar Ray had it all. He had the looks, he had the ability, he was agreeable to white America, and not only just black America. Sugar Ray was a marketing marvel.
Reach it up, feel it up. Sugar Ray's turning 7-up. America is turning 7-up.
This is a boxer, you know, this is a gladiator, and he's been, celebrity-wise, he's been moved over to the entertainment field.
So you're the champ, huh?
Yeah.
His popularity was something that transcended the boxing world. There were people who never watched boxing at all who knew who Ray Leonard was.
Sugar Ray Leonard was sort of the mini Ali. He was the most charismatic and accomplished fighter out there and had a chance to become the most important figure of his time in the ring.
But early in Leonard's career, his supremacy appeared threatened by a burgeoning young fighter named Thomas Hearns.
Thomas Hearns was physically unique, very broad back, very long arms, and because he was so thin in the legs, he could carry 147 pounds and still be 6'1".
He was just a freak. I mean, a freak that someone can put this body together and give it the ability and know how to use it. And that was Emmanuel's job, showing how to take this body and make a champion out of him.
Eager to escape the dilapidated streets of Detroit's inner city, Thomas Hearns trained under the yet unproven talent of Emmanuel Stewart in the 100-degree lair of the legendary Kronk Gym.
The heat in that hellhole will run a pretender out. When you get down there are these fighters, row upon row of fighters. Skinny, flawed fighters, undernourished, overdosed, but you could see the will in their eyes.
Thomas Hearns, among the original Kronk fighters, was not the most naturally talented, but what made Thomas so special was his unbelievable determination.
I knew from day one that Emmanuel Stewart would definitely look out for me and guide me, not just to develop me as a fighter, but to develop me as a young man.
Still awkwardly growing into his lanky frame, the teenage Thomas Hearns failed to qualify for the 1976 Olympic trials. So the following year, both trainer and fighter turned professional, where the keen Stewart quickly unveiled the hidden potential in Hearns' lethal right hand.
The right hand was a creation of Emmanuel Stewart. He always made sure that when Tommy punched, that he would punch from a distance where he would extend his whole arm, and so he would get the snap out of it.
Tommy Hearns started out in first fight, knockout, second fight, knockout, third fight, knockout. I mean, I'm talking about these are knockouts in the first, second, third round.
It's over. He hit him with some right hand. A third-round knockout for Thomas Hearns, his 19th knockout.
I have never seen a welterweight hit as hard as this kid. Nobody. With his size, he's going to get to anybody, any of these welterweights. That's for real. Nobody is going to beat this kid.
He's the Motor City Cobra. He's the hitman, Tommy Hearns.
The arrival of Thomas Hearns provided the fuel for an economically depressed Motor City, hungry for a new champion.
Not since Joe Louis came roaring out of Detroit back in 1934 has this town been so excited about a fighter as they are about Tommy Hearns.
This was the rebirth of boxing in the city of Detroit. Thomas was our secret weapon.
The hometown crowd here in Detroit on their feet with another standing ovation. Hearns has received so many of those here.
They were loud and they were bold and you know, they weren't above heckling, but Tommy wasn't like that. He was the nicest, most polite, you know, quietest kid in the world.
His biggest concern always, after any fight, did the fans enjoy? He was always concerned about the fans first and that he gave his best performance.
That's a wonderful feeling to know that you are very much appreciated. I was on my way up the ladder, And climbing up the ladder was a great time for me.
In 1980, all of Detroit gravitated to Joe Louis Arena as Hearns carried his 28-0 record into a world title match against Mexico's dreaded Pepino Cuevas.
Cuevas is taking the punishment now.
Hearns connected with the right hand in the second round. Cuevas just became a noodle.
There's a throwing all over. All over. Pepino Cuevas is down.
Pepino's trainer immediately, no hesitation, threw the white towel in the ring. Immediately. That's how devastating that right hand was.
That's all. The fight is over. It ends in the second round, and Thomas Hearns becomes the new WBA welterweight champion.
I said, holy crap, this guy can fight. This guy's bad.
You are dodging that man.
Well, the fact is just what they say. They've made statements that I'm trying to get away from Thomas Hearns, that I'm afraid of him. The only thing that I fear is the fact that they won't pay me the money that I deserve, the money that I want.
Aren't you afraid he's going to beat you?
I'm not afraid of any man.
By 1980, the boxing world had two welterweight title holders, Thomas the Hitman Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard, who had recently regained his belt in a contentious rematch with Roberto Duran, where Leonard's taunting style frustrated the legendary champion into quitting.
I think that Ray Leonard proved in the fights with Duran that he was more than a pretty face. It was no longer was Sugar Ray Leonard a really good fighter. It was he the best fighter out there?
Are you going to fight Thomas Hearns?
I'll fight Thomas Hearns when he reaches the statue and the popularity of Roberto Duran.
Thomas Hearns was legitimately feared, we believe, by the Leonard camp. Their response was to try to minimize him.
If Hearns does not have the popularity of Duran, who else is there for you to fight?
Tommy, is that your friend there?
Okay, do we have another question?
We perceived that as them ducking Thomas Hearns.
But the rivalry continued to simmer as Dundee deferred the fight for nearly a year.
I said, what for? Not now. Let it get juicy, because I can smell it when it's going to be a big, big promotion. I turned Hearns down.
But Thomas Hearns remained Leonard's last barrier to greatness.
Tommy was the best, and I had to prove that I was the best by beating a guy like Tommy Hearns. That fight was the most important fight of my professional boxing career.
The showdown was finally set for September 16, 1981, in Las Vegas, proving the genius of Dundee's delay by promising to be boxing's highest-grossing fight of all time, with Leonard's take of nearly $12 million, banking him the largest salary in sports history.
I'm looking forward to it. And, buddy, you better be ready. You better be ready. All day long. Against your head. All day long. All day long. All day long. It'll be one shot.
Everybody in America wanted to be in Las Vegas that night. Only 25,000 people could see the fight, but 100,000 people came to town. It was that big of a deal for the boxing world and the city of Las Vegas.
With Leonard perceived as the classic boxer and Hearns known as the devastating puncher, experts were at odds over the fight favorite. But to the thousands of loyal Detroit fans flooding into Vegas, Hearns was a sure thing.
This was the safest bet in town, betting on Thomas Hearns. People were mortgaging their homes. They were selling their businesses. This was their retirement fund. And everything rested on Thomas Hearns.
This is the feature attraction of the evening. 15 rounds of boxing for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
I do remember walking towards the ring, and all I thought about was Muhammad Ali, how he would react at that moment. And all I said to myself was, be the man.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
It was the first big super fight for both of us. It was like life or death. There was no in between.
It was kind of scary. It was like being somewhere I'd never been before.
Introducing Thomas, the Motor City Cobra, Hearns.
And I remember in the introductions, he had this little smile on his face, I just thought to myself, he thinks he arrived.
All the words are now over. We are down to round one, and here we go.
In the first round of that fight, everybody was fixed on those two combatants, and they were fixed on each other, and there was a heightened state of being among all of us.
First round, welterweight championship of the world. It is probably the most talked about fight in history.
Leonard was baiting him, he was staying outside. Hearns was stalking him, just measuring him, trying to hit him with that right. And you could tell, somebody's gonna get hurt.
Round one comes to an end.
After the end of the first round, I touched him on top of the head and said, I got you, son.
And I didn't like that.
And Hearns sticks Ray Leonard, and Leonard feigns going down after the round is over.
And you can't slap me around.
Tommy, he's from the east side of Detroit, you know. You touch me wrong, man, I'm gonna break your head.
He set the stage right there that he's not playing. This is no game anymore. We're fighting.
Round two. First round very close.
In the second round, Tommy stung him.
Early, there's a good right hand.
Good right hand. Bam! Oh my God. Long night.
Tommy was like a cobra. He was bringing the fight to Ray.
Combination that time by Hearns. Once more scores on Ray.
The primary goal was to knock Ray Leonard out.
Hearns stalking his man now.
Ray sweating, I'm sweating too. I'm saying, Ray, move, Ray.
Right hand by Hearns stands Leonard straight up, and he backs off.
We're going to second round, third round, fourth round, you know. I'm like, oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? Because Tommy is winning.
Hearns' jab is bothering Leonard. There's no question about it.
His jab was so accurate and so fast that my left eye started to swell.
Tommy was tattooing it. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, no ifs and buts. Tommy is winning the fight.
It's starting to build. That fire is getting bigger and bigger. And so far, it's living up to its billing.
Come on, box. Don't look out fighting this guy.
1/3 of this fight is over. We're going into the second third.
Even though Thomas was slightly ahead, I was never relaxed. Ray Leonard was much stronger than most people realize. I knew the explosion was still going to happen sooner or later.
Ray gets inside, left hand, Hearns backs him up. Hearns with another runner with another left hand and a right hand in the head. And Hearns lands her wobbling.
And from there, the fight changed. The fight totally reversed. Leonard became the puncher, the stalker, and Hearns became the boxer who was evading.
Ray's corner telling him to stay on him, stay on him. Hearns backs up now. Leonard stalks him. Another left hand.
Hearns is still hurt.
Thomas got hit. Thomas got hurt. I mean, we couldn't believe it.
Combinations once more by Ray Leonard. Hearns' legs are still like jelly.
That's the first time we had ever seen Thomas in trouble. We didn't know if he could ever take a punch.
Hearns is against the ropes, and he has definitely had the starch taken out of him here.
They could have knocked him out in that round, I'm certain. And he let him off, thinking he's playing possum. He's not really hurt as bad as this. If I go after him, is he going to catch me?
Right hand misses by Leonard, gives Hearns another moment. He's still hurt though. Combinations right above us. Hearns goes reeling back once more. Against the ropes again as we come to the end of round 6.
At the end of the sixth round, I was threatening to possibly stop the fight.
Most definitive round of the fight.
That round could turn the fight around.
But Thomas has tremendous pride and determination.
We doctored him up, put some ice, and brought him back as quick as we could. Sent him back out there for some more damage.
Good left hook, good uppercut left hook. Once more, Hearns backs up. Hearns is hurt. Against the ropes, and he is hurt.
All I thought about doing was keep throwing punches, just keep throwing punches, just keep throwing punches.
And right now, Thomas Hearns is an open book to Ray Leonard. Backs up against the ropes. And his legs almost buckled on him.
I stayed right in his chest. I stayed right in his body. From then on out, that was my fight plan, to just take the fight to him, to break him down.
Leonard giving a lot of pounding to Thomas Hearns, who unquestionably is hurt. I don't think Hearns is going to weather this off. I really don't.
Tommy was in so much pain. I don't know how he stayed on his feet. I really don't.
I wasn't so much scared. It was just I was trying to regain my composure.
Thomas Hearns looking every part to beat the fighter now. Another right hand drives him back into the ring post. Crowd is on its feet here in Vegas. We come to the end of the round.
I knew I had him. I said, this is over. I figured he was gone. He was out.
Tommy Hearns is in a land now that he's never been to before.
I knew once that bell rang to go back out there, I'd been okay. All I needed was a few minutes to get myself back together.
Emmanuel was trying to just get him together. He said, don't worry about it. You know, just we gotta box him. Tommy, you have to box.
So Ray Leonard comes to round 8 now, having taken the measure of his man in the last 2 rounds. Right now, there seems little doubt as to the outcome of this fight.
That's when Tommy showed the true heart of a champion. He was amazing.
You could see him, for a couple of rounds, like just trying to clear his head as he stayed away. And then he started pecking away, and he's piling up points.
He was on his toes. He was using the ring. He was sliding side to side.
He's no longer the hitman. He's the dancer.
I don't think I've ever seen a fight that took an 180-degree turn the way this one did. I think Sugar Ray is a little bit confused.
It was very, very difficult for me to keep up with him because I was exhausted. I was gasping for breath.
A jab snaps the head of Ray Leonard back and lands right on that puffy left eye.
My eye was so tender that his jab would seem like a sledgehammer.
Larry, you've been scoring the fight. You really do have Hearns getting back in it in the last 3 rounds.
I do.
I mean, Hearns has got it won. All he's got to do is keep pecking away, and he's going to be welterweight champ.
By the end of the 12th round, Hearns had boxed his way back to a significant lead on all 3 judges' scorecards.
You're back ahead on points now.
You heard Emmanuel Stewart that you're back ahead on points.
And with 3 rounds remaining, Leonard's legacy was on the line.
You got 9 minutes. You're blowing it now, son. You're blowing it.
My eye was like a slit. I had no peripheral vision.
I mean, I remember looking at it and just thinking, ugh.
Angelo kept saying to me, "You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it. You're blowing it."
Break. Now separate the man from the boys now. We're blowing it.
In other words, you're losing.
You got to take it away from him, okay? Speed.
And you just see him explode out of the corner.
This, of course, is the 13th round, Randy. You heard everything that Angelo Dundee had to say. You got 9 minutes. You got 9 minutes.
Ray just gave it all. I mean, everything. I mean, see, Tommy digged down, but Ray stooped down and digged down to get this fight out.
Leonard is going for the whole boat. Hitting it with combinations. Leonard has given it everything he's got. Hearns starts down, but grabs, and now goes down through the ropes.
The only thing that kept him from being knocked into the seats was he was completely tangled up in the ropes.
I was hoping that Tommy could hold on. I was hoping that Tommy could keep moving.
Tommy had a huge heart. He was just going on guts then.
Hearns leaning on him, definitely in trouble. Another right hand by Leonard. Hearns down between the ropes again, 6-1 knee. Leonard is sent to the neutral corner. Time has run out in the round here. But Hearns is on his feet. So we come to the 14th round. It was a very crucial one, to say the least, Larry.
Time-wise was getting close. Tommy knew that only thing I had to do is box for 2 rounds. I'm the champ of the world.
Basically, if he could have stayed on his feet, he'd have won the fight. He was that far ahead on some of the judges' scorecards.
We knew Ray was behind, so he had to knock him out.
Leonard wants to put his man away right here. Does not want this fight to go to a decision.
It was a race against the clock. 2 of the greatest fighters of all time.
A right hand, and that hurts Thomas Hearns, sends him reeling. Hearns is not down yet.
Ray, at that point, smelled blood.
Ray taunts him now. 2 left hands against the ropes. Hearns is reeling.
I threw every punch that I had left. I just went on a rampage.
Trying to go downstairs is Ray Leonard.
Thomas was on the ropes, still holding his hands up, blocking punches, but didn't have the energy to even hold his body erect.
Hearns just trying to hang on here. Left hand sends Hearns back against the ropes again. And that's all. It's over. And Ray Leonard is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world against a very game Thomas Hearns. You cannot say enough about both of these fighters.
I jumped in the ring. We grabbed Ray. It was the greatest thing since my mother's chicken.
That was Ray's big obstacle. That's the mountain he had to climb. And once he climbed it, oh, God, it was a beautiful show from there.
Hail to the new, undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Ray became the ambassador of boxing. And Tommy was the one to put him in that position.
You look at a rather stunned Thomas Hearns right now.
I felt I let myself down as well as my fans. That was a fight that I definitely had won. I had it in the bag already, and just let it slip away.
Detroit really lived and died with him that night. And they had no compunction to come into Tommy later and saying, I bet my house on you.
There was 2 champions in the same division, and one of us had to be eliminated. And I say, Detroit, I shall return.
I cried all that night afterwards. I woke up the next morning and I started crying again. And Thomas himself, he cheered me up like a father cheered up a son when it should have been the other way around.
Tommy Hearns was clearly not disgraced in the fight. he raised the level of his game. He also raised the level of Sugar Ray Leonard's game.
One of us came out victorious, but still, I say in my book, we both are still champions.
That fight was the most important fight to Sugar Ray Leonard and to Tommy Hearns, without question.
Leonard lost an eye, Hearns lost his consciousness, but they both gained immortality, ring immortality that night.
Stand up, go stand up, right.
3 months after Leonard Hearns, Muhammad Ali fought for the last time. The passing of the torch was complete. But Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns didn't meet again in the ring until 8 years later, 1989. That night, Hearns knocked Sugar Ray Leonard down twice and seemed to many at ringside to have earned his long-sought vindication. But the judges' scorecards turned up even, and Leonard escaped with a draw and a sigh of relief. Thanks for watching The Tale of Leonard Hearns.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.